Holy shit. That's gonna kill me. That looks like a comfortable seat. Not at all. How's everybody doing? All right. Hey, guys, I'm gonna get this thing rolling. You guys ready for some Battlebots panel? Yeah. Yes, you are. Y'all excited you got a free t-shirt out of it? Sweet. Okay, here we go. You guys all know what Battlebots is. Do you want me to run it down? You're all here for a reason. You love Battlebots, right? Okay, here we go. So, without any further ado, I hope they're all ready to come onto the stage. Please, and I'm just going to read them all off, and they'll all come out on the stage all together. Without further ado, please welcome to the stage Chris Cowan, Jessica Chobot, Donald Hutson, Matt Maxham, Alison Haislip, Peter Abrahamson, and Greg Munson, everybody! Your Battlebots panel! And of course, we have Lockjaw and Stinger ready to take anybody out in case you're not giving them enough love. All right. Let's go. Hi, panelists.
Hi, Zachary.
Welcome to Nerd
Thank
HQ.
you.
Thanks.
I'm going to be sitting over here and drinking and
Nice.
enjoying. And moving
What are
things
you
along.
drinking?
Oh, why don't you have a drink in your hand, sir? We do sell them. That does happen. But welcome anyway. So should we? You guys want to jump into questions?
Yeah,
Want to just jump
sure.
right? Do you have anything you'd like to address? Anything you'd like to just say right off the bat?
Keep watching the show.
Excellently.
Please.
Netgate was not staged.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. We had an episode where one of the competitors hid a net in a cardboard box in like a present, and it trapped up one of the rotors. And then it was realized that the language was a little gray as to whether or not they can do that. So there was
Not that gray.
Somebody
that
begs to
gray.
differ.
There was a rematch, but what we realized after the episode aired is that a lot of people thought it had been staged by the producers. And so what they didn't know is that, can we say this, that was actually the first fight? Yeah, okay, cool. I'm like, read my mind, Chris. That was actually the very first battle that took place out of the whole competition. And we had no idea it was going to happen. And it was pretty incredible. That
So imagine you're launching a brand new show. You have no idea how any of this is going to work. And somebody throws a net out of a box in your very first fight. You have to stop down the entire show, and we have to basically put the Geneva Convention together to figure out what the hell happened.
Get the lawyers.
Exactly, and where are we going with it? So it was confusing at best.
If I had a nickel for every time somebody threw a net on me out of a box, I would be broke. I would have no nickels. First question. Let's open it up.
Oh, right here. In the blue. Or the black. What is that?
It's a shirt.
It's a shirt. Is that an Illuminati shirt? What is it?
Yeah, it's from a cartoon, and there's like a character that looks like the Illuminati pyramid, and he's kind of crazy and great.
Awesome.
So my question is for the BattleBot drivers. So I haven't. After I started watching the show, I kind of went back and watched the old stuff, and even saw like some of the stuff you've done in between on YouTube. And I was sort of wondering how the technology has changed, and maybe like how the funding has changed between your older fights from the original series and the stuff you've done in the last 10 years, and then this incarnation of BattleBots.
Well, I think everybody in BattleBots first benefited right out of the bat from the latest new batteries. I think all of us were either running A123 cells or nanophosphate of some sort. And what's really great about that type of technology is it's about a third lighter. So we immediately got that benefit. We also had a weight advantage. That was very cool. Another 30 pounds on what we would normally do.
Yeah, we used to be 225 for the heavyweight class. We bumped it up to 250 specifically to try to have new robots innovate and take that extra 30 weight advantage for modular weapons and something like that.
Yeah, plus they're much safer too, right? The batteries are, they just handle those kind of shorts and stuff better.
Except the light polys. The light polys,
Yeah.
It's like having a flame weapon in your battery packs. I personally don't like the light polys. I'm an A123. And yeah, we went from 48 pounds of batteries when I first started building in 2002 to now we're down to 9.5 pounds of batteries.
Yeah,
and
copy that.
And I can run for 8 minutes, where before I could only run for about 5 minutes. So yeah, batteries is the biggest thing.
So
the biggest thing.
Imagine what you can now do with that extra weight. So you just reduce your weight penalty by, what was it, 8 pounds, 10 pounds?
Oh no, it was like 30.
30 pounds. So 30 pounds. I mean, that
Quarter the
now
weight.
opens the door for a brand new weapon system, a more powerful motor.
Titanium.
Titanium.
More stabby things.
Flamethrowers.
I thought it was pretty interesting how people used the weight class then to determine to try and go with mini bots, which in the beginning I didn't think was going to do much, but there were a few incidences where they placed themselves well enough underneath a robot that gave the advantage to the other team in order to kind of get under there, because so many of them are built so close to the floor that it's kind of like, I was
some people
lips.
some people don't understand what the rules behind the mini bots are. So since BattleBots back in 1999, we've always allowed multi-bots. And what you have to do if you're going to build, let's say, a 250-pound robot, you have to reduce the weight of that 250-pound robot for the weight of the littler bots, 1, 2, or 3 of them. So you're at a disadvantage weight-wise with the bigger bot. And if the bigger bot is disqualified, is incapacitated, you lose, no matter what happens to the mini bots. So that's how it evens out on the fairness side.
Isn't it something? Oh,
I was just going to say, it totally was a surprise. I think I was one of the things I was not prepared for going there. Looking back at it, I remember looking at several teams with those, thinking to myself, it's going to be complicated.
But Team Waiachi with those flaming nuisance bot is pretty awesome.
Isn't the
Same
isn't
with
the
Witch
rule-
Doctor and the Shaman,
Yeah.
too.
Isn't the rule that it's a percentage of the weight that's actually been
So in
immobilized?
the old days, so if we go back to like what was the Raptors bot's name? The
Gamma Raptor?
Gamma Raptor and Alpha Raptor, right? So they were a team, and one was like 51% weight and 49% weight. So we put an orange sticker on the 51%, and if that one was incapacitated, they're out. Now, because a lot of people took their 225 robots and said, I'll just modify it a little bit, and I'm going to make them nuisance spots with the other 30 pounds I have, that's where that rule doesn't really apply anymore, because obviously this one is much, much heavier. So that's the one that has to get knocked out.
And when the nuisance spots are used properly, you notice a lot of them look like door jams. And they'll run in and they can stick the other robot and let the bigger robot with usually a weapon come in and attack whatever is the best way. One of the reasons why we have about 3 inches of ground clearance is someone's going to get under you. You want to be able to get off of them. And so the nuisance spots can actually work if they're good, well driven.
They also become psychologically, most of them are using flame, and everybody just wants to run from the flame.
Yeah.
Even though they may not be getting damaged, the robot may be pretty solid and can handle the flame, they still run away. And so the nuisance robot really does its trick by getting under there and just being in the way.
That was something I had asked about when I was first getting to know all these bots. What was the point of fire besides it looking cool? Because it's not like you're going to melt this thing in the 3 minutes you're given. But what I realized is that it's actually, if the flame can get inside and melt wires, because all you have to do is make the other bot not run, and if all of a sudden it can't run, you win. So
I'll play with this one. People always say, "Oh, it's just flame effects. It just looks cool." Yeah, the audience loves it. I have won 3 fights with the flame effect alone. We blew a hose on a pneumatic robot, and it actually. Pardon?
Past competition.
At past competitions, yes. This is way back in the early days when we were street fighting. And the other thing is, if you're driving your robot, the first time someone used a flame against me, I have a completely solid robot. I can basically drive in rain. It's not going to hurt it. When I saw the flames completely surrounding the robot, flames coming between every tire, first thing I thought is, get the heck out of there, because my bot's on fire. So it is kind of a psychological weapon too. Someone actually tapped out when I had them pushed up against the wall and I was flaming them. They tapped out. It warmed up the outer metal. So it's funny. Flames can work, and we've used them for show and for effect and to win.
you can tap out in a BattleBot?
Not this
was
time.
A different competition.
Not this
different competition.
When we do double elimination tournaments, you can tap out.
Oh, because you don't want your bot to sustain so much damage it can't go on to the other.
Oh, I do.
Look, I'm still learning things.
Who's got another question?
I saw that man in the blue shirt first. So
Okay, I have to ask, which one are you more afraid of, Bronco for this current season or Tombstone?
Interesting question since we already know the outcome.
yeah.
Well, this is funny. Everyone thinks they're afraid of the spinner bots. People say, the spinner guys say spin to win. I say spinners make better targets. I know how to fight them. I go in there, I can fight them effectively, as we've seen with Shredderator and Warhead. But I love the Inertia Lab guys. Their fights make us active. And he's a really good driver. He's a very aggressive driver, too. So it's, I think I would rather fight Tombstone because everyone thinks, oh, look at my gummy marshmallow tires. They're going to eat my tires and I'm dead. Well, if I do my job, they'll never see the tires. If they do their job, I'll be dead and a block in the middle of the arena. So it makes it fun. So the actual answer is, I would actually rather fight Tombstone.
What about you, Donald?
It's funny. I think when I listened to him say that answer, I thought to myself, really, the fight I'm most interested in is the one that is a knockdown, drag-out match. And I think with both of those robots, one is about, surviving impacts and trying to, disable that constantly spinning weapon. And the other one is about taking flights 20 feet in the air. So, they're both very, very dangerous robots. And I think as the competition unfolds, we'll start to see that genres of robots, each have their rock, paper, scissors advantage. And what we look for is the opportunity to just have a great match that goes the distance. And we end it, win or lose, with some kind of gratification that we survived it. Yeah.
I
So
also feel like, oh, sorry.
I was going to say, would you rather be repeatedly punched by Mike Tyson or thrown out of a 5-story building? That's your choice.
That's a good one.
I was also say for the spinnerbots too, the fact they're very obvious advantage being that they're just so aggressive and it seems like they just can tear everything up, can also work against them in the sense that they might end up getting a little cocky, going out there again when they probably should just back off, and that's kind of their disadvantage. Their advantage is their disadvantage because then they feel infallible.
Yeah, spinners, they're their own worst enemy. I mean, spinners break themselves as often as they break the other guy.
Gyroscopic precession.
Ooh,
That's the word that I learned. I'm not a robot guy, I'm a producer. Gyroscopic precession. That's what kills spinners, because the energy transfer when they hit something as hard as these, if it doesn't get absorbed in that bot, it's going to get absorbed by their own bot. Yeah. And they just spin like helicopters out of control. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're hitting themselves as hard as they're hitting the opponent.
It sounds like my spirit animal.
A spinner bot?
That's exactly right, Alison.
Though I actually will add that it's funny, the outcomes of those fights are way different. With Tombstone, a bad fight ends in scraping your robot out of the arena in little pieces. Or on fire. And there's a totally different type of destruction when you're doing flights through the air and the pieces of your robot are imploding from inside and batteries are shorting. So it's a daunting process as we walk in the battle box and look at new robots with new ideas. Each one carries a unique way to die.
Yeah, and even if you win a match, you still win through the battle. So later on, when you get rematched, further on down the road, you're already taking that damage. I mean, you might be repaired, but you're taking that damage with you and you're weakened as well. And so you got to always take that into account as when you're furthering along in your battles as well.
That's correct.
And I think
Something that probably isn't clear because you guys see one episode a week was that we actually shot the entire competition in 3 days. So even the bots that won to go on, they only had an evening to rebuild their bot for the next fight. And apparently, that's a long time in the world of robot combat.
We
Normally,
used
you
to
get like
have
45
20
minutes.
20
Oh, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It's insane, but these guys are like so good at what they do that, they go back. There's an area back there called the pits. I think it's been on the show very briefly in the first episode. But that's where all the bots are, and they each have their own table, and they're like surgeons back there, and they're like welding gun,
It's like a NASCAR pit crew.
Yeah.
You win a fight in the arena. You win the competition in the pit. If you can't fix your robot quickly, you can't move on. Even if you win your fight, if you can't fix it and get in and be 100% your next fight, and yeah, the 20 minutes, we've had times where front corner of the robot was completely ripped off. I used a truck strap to strap the wedge on an older robot we had. literally strapped it on. It had 4 wheels to start with. After the fight, it had 3 wheels. We strapped the wedge on, went back in, and actually won a fight with 3 wheels on there. So you just gotta, I can't think of the word.
That's the MacGyver part of it, right? Like that's the
Exactly.
engineering challenge. That's the beauty of the tournament format, is that it is this war of attrition that these guys have to figure out not only how to come in with a bot that's deadly, but then how to last 5 fights to win the championship. And that's what's really fascinating about watching these guys. Like Matt believes that if your bot can't be dropped from 2 stories, it's not ready to go. And he literally will drop it from 2 stories in his casting tapes that he sent to us.
2 stories?
It was actually 1 story, but
Yeah, but trust me when I say not all bot builders prepare that way, where they break it and break it and break it before they show up at the tournament. Some people were putting it together at the last minute so that when they went in for that first fight, if they got decimated, they were not going to be able to move on. And that's been a big part of the question on the wild cards. How were the wild cards decided upon? Durability was part of the conversation for us, that could they survive? Did they have a legitimate shot at surviving 5 fights? That's part of the criteria that we use for wildcards.
If you're gonna build a robot, you better be willing to hit it with a sledgehammer multiple times, because that's what's gonna happen when it goes into the arena. So don't feel so tight to the robot that you're not gonna let it get broken. You need to be willing to sacrifice it at times.
Yeah, back in the day, we called it builder's syndrome. You build this thing, you fall in love with it. It's my baby, it's my precious. Oh my God, I can't put it into the arena. And then you have to detach. It is this thing you work by proxy, and like you said, you have to just beat the crap out of it, because that's what's gonna happen.
That's the funny part too. It kind of settles in. I think most people here have built something back in the day and been afraid to break it. For me, it was early on with like Legos, right? Who made those things? They always fall apart. You're always carrying them from one room to another. And one thing that happens is when you do get in the battle box, the first thing you do is you smell the inside of death. There's nothing quite like the smell of robots that have not had good success. It's kind of an instinctive thing. Your heart drops a little, your nerves go up, usually fine until we get in there, right? Yeah. Suddenly it all settles in. But there is no success without that, right? That's what's great about this show. Or this competition really is that it has the highest level of success as an engineer, a mechanical engineer who builds something, but it has the highest cost and payoff, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you can be either really, really successful or you're going to fail on nationwide TV. It's a little bit of drive behind all that. Yeah, it's fun.
I guess I found the right sport here, because growing up, I broke all my toys. I got Tonkas, I broke them. Legos, I fought them. Model planes, I'd burn them up or something. But so I tend to think you build it at home, and if you can break it at home, it's going to break in the arena. If I can't break it at home, maybe I'm a little closer to being able to survive in the arena, because it's hard to create the energies. I love it when I see bot builders bring their big robot into the arena and they carefully pick it up off their truck and set it down, and then they walk out, take their covers off. I used to go in and I just flip the robot over and just slam it onto the ground, and those guys would look and, what's going on? What's going on? And it's like, if you can't do that, you're in the wrong sport.
Next question.
I think right there in the red, you had your hand up first. You. Yeah. Sriracha guy.
Sir, me and my father watched the show together, and we really admire the fact that everybody, you're a working man, we're all working people, and we all have jobs, but my dad owns a construction company, and so we feel the vibe of just knowing, and we're a team of 2 people, me and my father, and we watch the show together, and we're really rooting for you. You know, as a construction, I work with him sometimes, and out there on the field, and how you have that bucket on the front of, or the wedge, if you will. It's like a blade, like on the front of a tractor or an excavator, and we love it. We dig it, and if anything, if you win, if you lose, you're really inspiring a team of 2 people, just like you are right now. So me and my father.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much. It's my wife and I. We're the team. I grew up on a ranch when I was a kid. I worked construction all my life. You don't have to be an engineer. I mean, I had to literally learn how the remote controls worked when I got into the sport, and it's from day one. There's websites out there. Facebook has a community, robotic combat, robots. There's information out there. You can learn a lot on the internet and then just start building something. So yeah, I believe anybody can do it. An earlier question was where the funding and stuff comes from. Well, I work overtime, I work hard. All of our funding came from my and my wife's wallet. Now she has a really good job, so that helps too. So
She owns half the robot.
Oh, she owns about 90% of the robot. So yeah, you can do it. You don't have to build a $150,000 machine. I mean, when I first got in it, I wanted to beat the MIT guys with their $100,000 machine. My machine cost about $2,000, the first heavyweight. You can build them for less than that. I've seen guys build $500 robots and actually be kind of competitive. They're kind of Chobots. They put everything inside a box and ram out there, but they do it. And the thing is, just build it, get to an event. They're still happening. And once you build and learn what you're doing, then you try and get on Battlebots, and that's basically what I did.
Grant Imahara wrote a great book. It's called Kicking Bot, I think. Look it up on Amazon, because if you are interested...
I own it. I read it.
It's great. If you're interested in getting involved with the sport, it's a great sort of entry-level book to study. But absolutely, you do not have to be an engineer. Our first robot was $600. Trey and I built it. We are not engineers. We built it out of wood, and we riveted it together, and the speed controller was Bosch relays from a car. I mean, and a car battery. It was...
And a servo to knock those.
One servo.
And they took and when they needed another battery, they took it out of the car that drove them there.
Yes, yes. So it's totally available to anyone to try to do this. And there's resources online, there's books. So if you're inspired to do it, do it. It's a lot of fun.
Greg, let's take a look at a clip. Yeah?
Clip time.
Yes.
Okay. So we have a sneak peek of what will be episode 5. It's not this Sunday's episode. It's going to be the quarterfinals. And it's not revealing anything as far as a matchup is concerned. And trust me when I say you will not know the outcome of the fight by this clip. But we're going to show you a fair amount of it because it's really spectacular. As you get to the quarterfinals, and now you've really kind of separated the wheat from the chaff, you've got really heavyweight matchups. And they are spectacular because they're durable, they're great drivers, they're great weapons, and this clip is a pretty good example of it. It is literally a working cut, so it's not really sweetened or anything, but it's pretty spectacular, so we should show that.
This is Battlebots. Robots activated.
We will see if that modification helps Stinger. He admitted he's nervous going against Bronco. I get it. Whoa! Look what Bronco's doing, and also the flame out of Stinger. Holy smokes! Literally.
Okay.
All good?
Yep.
Ready. Let the bot battle begin. Oh, the flame is coming out. We haven't seen that yet from Stinger in its previous 2 matches. Bronco with a little glancing blow. Oh, the flame is so pretty. I don't know if it's doing anything. Whoa!
Oh,
that's not
there for Bronco.
Stinger's got to get out. Oh, wait! Bronco caught on the screws. Can it get off? Look at this thing. Trying to drive off. Remember, it can't drive it bird in some way, but it's got to flip itself back over, and it does!
Amazing driving skills from Bronco. Wow!
Whoa! And look at that flame getting under Bronco.
Well, we saw Witch Doctor cause some problems with its flamethrower earlier on in the tournament.
You got to look out for those kill saws, one of the half dozen hazards inside the battle box. Bronco goes right over and saying, I don't care about those hazards. Whoa, Bronco getting popped in thanks to those Hellraisers. Whoa!
What a hit for Bronco!
A 720, ladies and gentlemen.
him a 10.0.
I forgot how cool that looks.
That was insane.
Right?
That was insane.
Now,
That's the first time I've seen that.
Oh,
here's the thing that I feel like you don't get from watching on TV that you guys get seeing this thing here. You see how heavy this thing is. For it to flip, what did you say? A 720? That's insane. That's how powerful Bronco is, to flip this 250-pound hunk of metal that far in the air.
The other thing is, obviously everyone keep watching the show, but if you ever get the if you get the opportunity to see it live, when we shoot season 2,
When
we shoot season 2, seeing it live is insane. You feel in the audience, you feel the impacts happening. It's crazy.
On TV, you see it and you kind of hear it. At the events, you feel the noise. That arena, what does your arena weigh?
Oh, it's like
150, 200,000?
It's like 30 tons.
Yeah. The arena shakes. I mean, we're standing on floor panels and the walls are shaking, and it is, you come, you feel the noise, and that just is awesome.
So, what's the thickness of the glass that we're all saved by?
Inch and a quarter, inch and a half.
Inch and a quarter.
Yeah, of like bank teller glass, right?
Lexan, yeah.
Yeah, so I swear, I thought the producers told everybody that, like, oh, go play to the judges. But for some reason, it just ended up that way. They never said that, but for all the big stuff, always kind of happened right in front of us, which was awesome. So I'm like sitting there, and all of a sudden, I can't remember who it was, but I think it was a spinnerbot, one of them, and they hit him so hard that just shrapnel just like fling, and it literally just was like boom, and you are like screaming, and then you look and there's chunks taken out of the glass, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Farouk, your head would have exploded. And he's like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, yeah, that was so cool. And you're just like, oh, so you gotta go. I've got goosebumps. It's just so awesome.
Yes.
Do you guys remember the Ice Wave Razorback fight, the very first fight of episode 1?
When the bot caught on fire.
So so Razorback gets obliterated and shrapnel's flying everywhere. And Chris and Kenny are standing just like right in front of the glass, right there.
Yeah.
And after the show, Chris comes up to me and goes, I like your show. I don't like it that much.
What you guys didn't see is there's a little mini drone that's getting some of the aerial shots that's inside the battle box at the same time that the fight's going on. And I was trying to make bets. I was hoping that one of those shrapnel pieces was just gonna take that sucker out. I was like, oh, please let this happen. It never did, but maybe season 2.
No, maybe we should do that. We should just have 4 in there, and everybody can online bet which one actually goes down
We
first.
should put every season. We should put like $100 or $200 down to see like.
I should get extra points for it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Or, yeah, that might be a tiebreaker.
Yeah. At the office, we have a whiteboard because we have a lighting grid inside the arena. So we had a whiteboard for how many lights are going to get destroyed during the thing.
Yeah, there was actually pieces of shrapnel falling out of the ceiling during somebody else's match. Yeah. I forgot about that till you just.
Oh no, yeah. So a piece of Plan X, 3 fights later, falls. Boop.
You know, it's funny too on that topic. You know, we're always amazed when at the end of a match, you'll if you watch carefully, you'll see us as competitors walk in. But while we're setting our robots up, we're really looking for spare parts. Yeah, there's pieces everywhere. We're gonna look in the corners, and right.
I think it's funny that we're all terrified that robots will one day take over the world, but they're going to do that because currently we're beating the shit out of them right now. And they're like, we're going to get you one day.
No, they won't. Computers cannot talk to printers yet. They will never take over the world until a computer can talk to a printer properly.
Solid. Next question.
Oh, right here in the red. Yeah. I love the Attack of the Show shirt you have on, dude, sitting next to me.
Do you guys expect that the robots that you build will become more advanced during the fights? Like, as the show progresses, do you expect that you're going to build more advanced robots, like walkers or something like that?
Me personally, nah. I don't like electronics, but I'm always learning. I'm a person that Wendy's main job when we first got into the sport was videoing every fight we were involved with or that was going on. So if you're not learning, you're falling behind. That being said, I like the electronics when they get stronger, more like mil-spec stuff, but my build philosophy is keep it simple, stupid. The more stuff you have in there, it's just more stuff to break, but I like the when it's animation. I like things getting animated. And this design is just the start. We've got so much in the forward, future that we want to do with this robot, because that whole fight, that whole competition, we were only at about 230 pounds because I'm always afraid of being overweight. So I took a bunch of stuff out and then realized, oh man, I'm way underweight. So for the future, that's great because it gives me another 20 pounds to add all kinds of stuff, claws, magnets, all kinds of things.
Yeah,
Donald, get him a scale that's 20 pounds off.
No, it's funny. I think I share with his opinion that, there's, with the extra weight, there's many advancements you could do. And everybody handles it differently. Everybody has a different curve or a different direction they want to advance themselves. And I'll answer your question quite directly. I mean, for me, absolutely. There's definitely legs in my future.
You had plans to make a walking version of that, didn't you?
I have a couple walking robots. Most people haven't seen them. I have a 900-pound bipedal robot called Gear Crow. And I also have a humanoid with 22 axes that wields lightsabers. Not real ones. But I have a heavy interest in it because I think that's some of the stuff I'm interested in. Servo control, motor control. And yes, is it hard? Yeah. Is there a lot on the line? A lot more parts to break? Absolutely. But for me, that's actually the best part. I look forward to the next robot I get a chance to build. And I hope it is more complicated.
I fear Boston Dynamics.
I was going to say the MIT kids, Overdrive. That's the name of their robot, right? Overdrive actually... Overhaul. Oh, because Overdrive was the other one? Right. Oh, right. Overhaul. Overhaul actually started as a walker bot when it came into the competition. But then because of the pairings they got matched up with, they modified their bot because they thought it would be better to not be a walking bot. But that is something I found really interesting about the competition was that all of the drivers, depending on who they got matched up with, modified their bot somehow. So it wasn't just like they walk in with one plan and that's what's got to work. They changed things as the competition progressed.
Even the spinner
Surprise!
guys. Even the spinner guys,
Yeah.
like Tombstone, you think it's the same robot. He actually has 3 different blades for that thing for specific types of robots. Modularity is great. And I like the advancement. And I forgot where I was going with this.
Thanks, Matt.
If you're interested in legs, then the key to that would be to change the environment. So right now, we've achieved a niche with these type of robots, the rock, paper, scissors, on a flat 4. But if you now go to outside, we go to dirt or terrain, robot Darwinism will have to evolve.
Right.
Would Raptor be considered a walker? The one that...
Rex.
Rex?
Rex.
Yeah.
Rex is a whole new
Gyroscopic.
class of robot. How many of you guys seen Rex? So that was exactly...
That was what
Gyroscopic
Chris was
procession.
Yeah, we were talking gyroscopic procession. And what we like about the show is that even as contestants, we show up there and we see something totally unique. The fact that he was able to put a good 90% of his robot into the weapon and simply articulate the spinning disc, it was really a surprise.
Rex-
and quite innovative, personally.
I want to give some credit to the guys that built Rex.
Yeah.
They also built a 1-pound robot. There's a combat league of 1-pound fighting robots. And his 1-pounder could do box rushes and hit people, and awesome. The problem with this one was we had such a short build time that those guys got it built, but driving that robot is completely timing. How quickly you move it back and forth, how far you move that gyroscopic wheel on the front would control it. And during that fight, I actually saw where he did some long runs, 15, 20 feet straight right at it. If the guy was in front of him, it would have been perfect. It was also able to do 180-degree turns. So it didn't work very good this time, but that idea is very workable. It just comes back to drive practice.
Time, too. 2 months.
Yeah.
Oh, back there? All the way in the back?
What rule is in your way from complete domination?
I should have asked that question on the show.
The rule that there's a bunch of rules about complete domination. You can't put a rule. The rule is that anybody can show up with their design. And the heart of engineering is that you fall in love with your idea. You think it's a cool idea, but so does the other guy, right? So I don't really think that is a obtainable question. I mean, we really have to not only go into it not knowing who's going to show up, we have to be able to change it up when we get there, because things like Rex and a couple other robots that were there, the multibots we mentioned earlier, they're all surprises, and all it takes is a couple changes. So I think the domination part isn't going to happen. I think it's always going to be a community of machines that, depending on how they're paired, will depend on how they succeed.
Yeah, it's rock, scissors, paper. There is no perfect robot, and luck is a big part of it. You don't know what the tree's going to be until you see it. You don't know what you're fighting. You don't know who you're fighting, and you never know what's going to break. I mean, everything could be going perfect and you break something, or you could be losing a fight, and all of a sudden a switch on their robot explodes just from shock, and they die. There's nothing wrong with the robot, but a switch dies. It's as easy as that. Duct tape. They're a plug-in. You know, Tombstone, he doesn't use any kind of quick couplers on that big, nasty spinner, because the amount of energy that is generated will just tear everything apart. So really, domination comes from pre-planning, fixing the things that'll break before they break, figuring it out, and when it does break, find an answer. Don't just put it back together and put another piece of tape on it. Figure out why it broke. That's what domination is just actually building it, finding its weakness, and trying to stay away from that. You can't fix everything. It's a constant balancing act between putting weight into armor. People always ask me, why don't you put armor on the thing? Well, armor is heavy, and if I do my job, their robot will stay in the front of my robot. So you don't need to armor the whole thing and make a turtle, because now you have the problem of, okay, someone puts you on a wedge, on the wall, your tires aren't touching, you're dead. So it's neat, and it's rock, scissors, paper. Everybody has a good idea. May not be the best idea, it doesn't matter, but if it works for them, it goes. And that's what I really love about the sport. NASCAR, everybody's racing the same car. When we come up, everyone's got their idea, and it's awesome. If you told 4 builders to build a 4-wheel lifter, you would literally have 4 different robots out there that look completely different, because it's coming from inside the builder. Their brain, their heart is inside that robot. And that's what I really love about this sport, is the just diversity of design and how you fight, what your goal is inside the arena. Sure, it is to beat them, but how? And that's the fun part. That's why I love designing the robots, and I love driving them. I hate working on them.
But lasers would be cool. Rock, paper, scissors, lasers, I think. That's what we're all looking for.
Plasma cutter.
Plasma cutter at some point.
I still want to see the bowling ball chucking robot. Will someone please build the bowling ball chucking robot?
That's probably legal, huh?
That's in the rules now. We have new rules, which include...
You can have untethered projectiles. They can't
gas
break
charge.
the Lexan. They can't be powerful
Can't be
enough.
bullets, no guns.
Yeah, and no
But they can
explosives.
Totally be bowling ball chucking robots.
And we are working on that.
Do you guys have a demo? Am I told that you guys have a demo that we can see right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was our plan, is that we would show safely.
Very safely. Very safely.
Just servo movement, just give you an idea. And I think we just kind of wanted to share, what our thought process was. I think most of the folks here probably just want to know what's involved and how we pick and choose what we build and what we find important in the design intent.
Should we turn the robots on?
Absolutely, you should
This
turn those on.
terrifies me.
You guys want to see some robots move and stuff?
We're moving out of the way. I know
love
what
that
these
you
do.
are literally sitting this far away, and you're going over here, and these guys are sitting a foot away.
They're going to move.
What the
better
hell
move
is
them back.
happening here?
The amount
Moving
of
it out.
safety requirements that the show needed.
You're going to be fine. Don't
like,
worry about it.
when these things are behind the pits, there's like things plugged into them so it can't accidentally turn on and that kind of stuff. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, anytime.
Yeah,
something
I'm
doesn't
hiding behind
start
the
up,
chair.
We have to shut everything
Louise.
down.
I'm back here.
What is happening? Here, we can. Yeah, let me help you move that by telling you how to move that.
So, yeah, normally there'd be an 1.5-inch piece of Lexan right here protecting you, but not today.
The flamethrower has been disabled, I believe. Yeah, right? I brought some s'mores.
It's just like at SeaWorld, except for the first 3 rows get burned.
Aww. Good Lord.
Oh, this crazy, yo.
Okay,
crazy.
so I think what we're going to do is I'm going to hand the mic over to Matt. And do you want to do that? Did you want to speak, or you just want to just show it moving around?
Well, you want me to set up and let you attack me first? You want me to attack?
He says attack. It's
Guys, this isn't a competition.
Donald,
stay calm.
It's always
Don't make it a competition.
Do you want to get your...
Sure.
Let's see.
This is the
So,
stuff you guys don't see because they edit it out.
So here's the part we all have. We have some very safety features on here. We're all set up to disable the robots on a heartbeat. So it'll be a little scary for you, but not too bad.
Yeah, normally we have these facing the corner of the arena away from the other builder or ourselves.
But not in the garage.
I always do wheels up. I never turn it on without the wheels off the ground.
You just did.
Mostly.
Okay, so so I guess I'll just start it off. Thank you, Vanna. So the point we really want to show is, how we end up with different configurations. Both me and Matt take an approach where we like redundancy in our systems. Lockjaw has a 6-wheel independent drive, has 3 horsepower motors in each of those, so that's a total of 18 horsepower for the drive. The jaw system, I usually have a remote pilot that helps with the control, but the real intent behind this design is similar to some of my past robots. The thing I like about this one is the arena is full of hazards. A lot of folks, you'll see, put a lot of weapons on the robots, but it turns out that the arena hazards are really, really very dangerous. So we're like the ninjas of the sport. We like to use the arena to our advantage. So in the first part of this design, we have our basic grappling system, right? That, be very careful. And, we would normally lift and do something like that. We would typically use the bottom ones and to stay still, which would allow us to go just a little further. And I'm not going to go too much further than that because...
Yeah, the stage is rented,
Yeah,
so...
it is rented.
And I have 30 other panels this weekend. But no, please.
And I certainly heard something about carpet that definitely is a little spooky. And so, as we try these tasks, normally, let's see if you could turn around backwards for me.
Turn backwards?
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
never back my robot, let you behind me.
Well, you can always do the front, Matt.
This is a robo booty call, apparently.
Now, the interesting thing with this new design that I did is, I'm always trying to find an innovation in the jaws, and I think there's so much benefit to control. So you first need a lot of horsepower. We both agree on that.
Don't scratch my paint.
Don't scratch the paint. And really what I'm trying to do with this design here is pick them up. Oop, there goes the scratch. And turn them down this way. And I would say that's probably not the best example of scratching his robot, so I will graciously stop. But the intent is to run the controls down like that. And then the robot also has some flamethrowers that come out in this position. And all of this is obviously meant to be completely invertible. So, yeah.
Matt's like, my turn now.
So I'll let Matt have some fun.
See, normally I'd attack like this with the arena running. When I lift, just because of physics, I would flip myself over. But in the arena, as I run into them, when I've got forward momentum going, and when I lift, I tend to, the wheels will stay under it. I can flip them up over backwards. This setup isn't really good for getting people out of the arena. You get them up on top of the robot, then I can lift them. So this one was basically set up to keep people away from me. Drums, vertical bar spinners, or guys with really big flippy things, pneumatics and stuff. But I'm more of my fighting style isn't really finesse. It's just go out there, bounce off the walls, and break their fist with my face. And it shows up that way.
He's being very humble. Between he and Donald, the two of the best drivers in the field.
It's a war of attrition.
Are you guys starting to get a sense of the visceral element?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, that's a great demo. That is a fantastic demo.
You won that one. He beat me that time.
I think it cut a hole in the carpet.
What do you want to do?
That wasn't my robot.
Everybody's okay, right? Nobody got any shrapnel?
Oh, we got a little divot in your stage,
Oh,
Zach.
did
Sorry. Sorry.
Nothing to
We
see.
call that a
Your
prize.
producers are here, right?
Maybe we should have been the last panel instead of the first.
Dude, if you should be the last panel next year, and you should just lay waste
Go
to the
for
entire
it.
stage. Am I right? Am I right?
Because when we go to season 2, right? Because everyone's going to keep
Exactly.
watching it.
Exactly.
Yes.
We can go to season 2.
Exactly. What's that?
Chairs. Yes.
A chair flipping competition?
Chair flipping
Yeah.
competition?
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic idea.
It should just be.
Will people be
I'm gonna
in them
pretend I made
with
it up
armored
myself.
suits?
Well, we got everybody standing. We got time for actually, before we all disperse, both of these robots and their drivers and everybody here will be, there will be photo opportunities at the patio. There's a photo booth area up there. There's an outdoor patio just as you're exiting the venue. Please take advantage of that. You can go get your picture taken with either one of these fantastic robots.
Or both.
Or both. Or both at the same time. And while we have everybody standing, let's ask maybe one more question. One more question.
Oh, yeah.
What made you guys start bot battling?
Mine's easy. I saw it on TV. I saw Battlebots and it's like, wow, that looks kind of cool. I think I want to do that. And the next thing I know, my wife bought tickets because they were taping a half hour away from our house, went down. Once I saw it live, even she said, we got to do that. Once you feel that noise, it's not a hobby, it's an obsession. If you got a boat, sell the boat, start building robots.
For me, it was two people. It was that guy back there, Mark Satrakian. Hi, Mark.
There he is.
He obviously builds the best robots on the planet Earth. In 1999, I received a page on my pager saying, come to this competition. It's really cool. I think you'll like it. 94, thank you. And I was hooked ever since. And then Peter called me and said, dude, build a robot. And that's what I did.
If I could be the hype man for a second, we really, really need your support. The show needs your support. ABC does a live broadcast every Sunday, which is kind of an anathema now for people to watch it when it actually airs, but it matters. We believe in this, that this is a sport. We believe that the message is strong, that creativity, engineering, STEAM, all of these things matter to what our ultimate message is. Not only is it just kick ass to watch things blow up and destroy each other, but the underlying message is right. This is a sport. It's as legitimate as anything else. Some people throw a ball. These guys beat each other up in an arena.
Yeah, it's definitely time.
And we need your support. So watch it live, spread the word, or watch it on demand. Try to avoid the free downloads because we just won't be able to support ourselves. We need network money in order to make a big event.
Yeah, if you want to see our next robots, you need to make sure. Yeah.
Guys, let's give it up for our BattleBot panelists, please.
Thank you.